because I've seen people cheat and then to avoid being called out for cheating, just shout louder than the other person with the camera and bluff it, because now the other person's gone, well, maybe I didn't hit him and now I'm going to look like a dick.
Well, I'm Josh. I'm 40. I live in Texas, and I love to be outside. So
wait a minute, you told me you were 41 a minute ago.
41. See, I told you when you get to a certain age that you have to start remembering it. Super excited to be here. This is a really great quality stream, and sometimes it goes off the rails, but it's usually fun stuff, and we're all like-minded here. And so anyways, I actually came from a background of playing laser tag from a company that actually came out of the UK called Laser Quest, which you still have a few. A friend of mine named Trixie, Phil Ellis, lives there in the UK, and he's one of like the big tech guys for them still. So I still keep up with that community from time to time. But anyways, laser tag ended eventually, and the competitions ended, and airsoft just something that I saw on TV or on YouTube, watching Red Wolf videos from way back when, and Jet when he first started coming up, and the internet, it grabs me, and then the ability to just kind of look through everything, go through pictures. I could post my own stuff if I wanted to. Cameras are a thing. So it seemed like fun. It seemed like a good, fun activity. And here I am like 12 years later, and I'm an employee at D14 Airsoft. Shout out to the airsoft field in the United States. I've never been to Europe to play, so I can't really make that judgment. But to the owners over there, the guys, everybody there is an employee and a player, which is amazing to me. That really helps build your business and your community up, which is kind of
definitely
one of the things I like to center around. I run games at the field. I do the social media for them, and I try to make airsoft look enticing to the rest of the NPCs if you have it. See if they want to come and try it. Come let us shoot you for a day and see if you want to come back.
So it's funny, obviously, you say about European sites. It's crazy.
So,
I was talking to, obviously we were just talking about, I was talking to Kenny from Empire Airsoft the other day, just about airsoft, like as the community, and that's when the conversation with you and Caleb come up. Because obviously I hinted it to you a few weeks back about, because I think you were on
a couple months
school holidays. Is it school holidays?
Yeah, you got all the big names in there right after you asked me, so I was like, okay, I get it. He's on a roll. You got Kick and Mustang, you got Silly Ghillie, and now everybody else comes out. Right?
Save the best.
Yeah. One hand helps the other, right?
Well, it's just, obviously, do you know Sasha from Mantis Concept Designs? He does some crafting.
I have probably seen a video with them, and that name is familiar, but I've never spoken to him, actually.
He's in Germany?
Germany,
maybe? I want to get him on it at some point as well, and just try and get a few different people. But for those that don't know, so Josh is based over in America, and obviously you guys must have such a weird view of the UK airsoft community, because we moan a lot. Whereas whenever I see the American community on some of the groups, everyone just seems a bit more relaxed. Like headshots is like, no one whinges about it. Whereas here, you say headshot and it's like someone's just kicked a small child over there. Like, people go mad for it. But Eric from One Shot says hello.
Oh yeah, shout out to Eric from One Shot Canada.
We love Eric.
He's
lovely. He is really nice.
Yes, he gave me some hookups on some stuff, but he's gave me more advice than I could ever hope to give to somebody else. Which really was about pushing it. I'm excited. I'd like to go and play with Eric at some point. We were just talking about that, but shout out to One Shot. If you guys need any products for your sniper rifles in the US, check out oneshotca.com, I believe.
And he's also a distributor for my stuff. Conveniently, just slip that in there.
Too. Sure,
those parts they're floating around.
Coincidentally, my other sponsor company is also a purveyor of SniperMechanics Wasps.
Would that be Amped?
That'd be Amped. Shout out to Amped and all their guys.
They're coming on my stream as well.
Excellent.
At some point, although I've spoken to Amped like as a company. I could not tell you who on an individual level I've spoken to yet though. Because there's about 20 guys that work there.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to one, I'm like, which one are you?
They're like two stores. Because they're at games every weekend pretty much across the country, mostly on the East Coast, but they go all over, all the way to Copperhead. And I don't know if they've been to California yet, but they take a trailer out to all these big and small MilSim events and they sell their stuff, and they provide air, and they have a whole trailer full of stuff. It's amazing, man. That's why they probably have a ton of people, because that store also kills it. Their warehouse there.
Yeah, I bought stuff. Funny enough, we were talking about Redline off stream a couple of weeks ago, weren't we? In fact, I'll show you. This is what I was building when I was talking to you about the Redline stuff.
Inevitably, when two airsofters get together, somebody's going to show their rifle. Oh, that's sick, man. Is that a 416?
Yeah, 416 Delta with the Ghillie rail.
Great.
And that was the amped line I was talking about, because obviously the Redline comes with the standard 6mm macro, and then I got the amped line that you sort of chop off up here.
I have the same thing on my
Simple,
car.
but brilliant.
I got a little. They can do customization there too. It's they just put a little something on top. Put the Redline logo on mine. So
I like the little doodles they put in. One of them was, it can't get any worse, because I bought one for this and one for an M16. And one just said, it can't get any worse. And the other one just said, not safe for the microwave. I was like, I don't know what you guys are doing over there in America, but if you've got to put that warning on stuff.
Those doodles are funny, man. They're great. Doodle. Yeah, a lot of good people involved there. Kurt, the owner, and all the employees and all the other sponsor players, which is, we just actually got our own special patches if you're a Amps player.
Yeah, I saw one.
15 people. Very cool. Very excited to be part of, people that are of respect and quality in the community. That's, to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, they seem really nice. Like, obviously, being UK based, I've not dealt with a huge amount of American companies. I've dealt with, obviously, Amped. I've used them in the past for some stuff. I think I got some MP7 bits a couple years ago. Obviously, I got the Redline N7 Milsim off of them. The Amped line, some other bits and bobs. They've always been good. Evike, not great. Just not great. Won't go into them.
I use them less and less now.
I think that's generally it. I think they're the two main shops that I've used. Because even with shipping and stuff, sometimes you get lucky and it just gets through. It doesn't cost you much more than if you bought it here.
All these companies that I am affiliated with, sponsored, brand partners, whatever you want to call it, are all small US-based businesses or Canada now.
Yeah.
And that's, for some reason, that just ended up being just how it worked for me. MC Kydex, if you're a Kydex person, if you like that kind of stuff, Josh makes the most amazing stuff.
Dude.
Small company, super small, like 2 people, one person maybe.
Are they the guys that did the limited run of the air tank stocks for Redline?
Oh, yeah.
Then, yes, they're great. And I had one on an SR. That Redline that I did on my blog like 4 or 5 years ago, that was one of the first Kydexes they got, because they sent it to Redline to send to me with the SR25 kit. Yeah. Brilliant piece of kit. Like, it fits like a glove.
The tubular one, or was it the SOP mod? They made a second version later on.
It looked more like a SOP mod stock. It went over the 13 CL bottle.
Yeah. But was it like, did it take the shape of the bottle?
No, it was more like a crane stock where it sort of came out triangular rather than the round shape.
Yeah, they don't even make those anymore. I think he just does the round ones.
But they're better than just leaning on, obviously, a bottle.
Sure.
Kydex is big. Like, there's quite a few companies here in the UK that have popped up in the last sort of few years that do Kydex and stuff.
I think everybody of name in the UK has some sort of affiliation with the Kydex company. That Femme Fatale and
name's Nico. Yeah, there seems to be
got one, and
there seems to be 2 main ones, which is
Danger Customs or something like that.
Deadly Customs, which I think his name's Nico, and Kydex Customs, who I had on the stream the other week.
Awesome.
I think that there might be a few others, but they're the main ones. When you think of Kydex, they're the 2 names that get thrown about.
Kydex and 3D printing have really, more so the 3D printing has really moved the technology for snipers in the last 3 to 4 years. And I think, guys like Hadron, shout out Stephen Willis, for all his great advice and his products and things like that, and making the sniper platform like an actual viable, role.
Funny enough, I would literally have been building a printer today. A new printer turned up today, and obviously it's like 30 degrees, 33 degrees in the warehouse, which to you is probably nothing, but to us mere British folk, that's like heat stroke territory. And obviously
y'all
printers,
have air conditioning, right? No AC?
No. We're in like a warehouse. We've got a couple of fans and an open door, and we just hope for the best.
Okay.
But funny enough, that's the typical benchy print. That's one of the first test things you print because it shows you loads of stuff. But that's in carbon fiber filament. But
I wish I had the space and time to learn that and the money, but all mine goes to airsoft.
Money-wise, they're not that bad. There's some printers, and you guys get them really cheap in the States, called Enders. You get an Ender 3 or an Ender S1. And I think you get them for like $200 or something, whereas we pay like £200, which is a lot more. But they don't take up a huge amount of space. And if you can edit a video, you can 3D print. Like if you've got the mindset to be able to sit there and learn how to do all the little things you need for editing, then you can do 3D printing. And the community in 3D printing.
Don't tell me they don't need another hobby.
I'm just saying and I could help. It would
be so helpful so many times. How many times have you tried to modify a product? You know, you're over there with a file or, you know, whatever kind of tool, and you break it and you're like, damn, now I have to call the company. I just did that this weekend to a product.
So this,
you 3D print that? Nice.
This is temporary because I don't believe in stealing stuff. But this is...
You're not with the ATF, are you?
No, we don't have that here. We have something to express us, but I wanted the proper Surefire one, and I've got one on order, but it's taken forever to get here. So I just wanted to see what it would look like. So I just printed
Happy with it? You got logo in there too?
Yeah, logo's on there. Surefire's up there.
Has it got baffles in it?
No, this is literally just the solid tube because I was too lazy to model both ends and get it threaded. But I just wanted to see how it would look before I spent like £120 on the accurate Surefire one, which I ultimately did do because I realised it looked pretty cool and I was happy with it.
That's what it's all about, man. It's all airsoft is partly a fashion show or like a cool tech show, you know.
But 3D printing it's an option for you, Josh. I'm just saying you could do it. You've got people around you that could help.
I got so many ideas.
Even those mag tabs, you could have printed them yourself.
Let's talk about 3D printing ideas since we're on the subject. You see this picture right here. Any sniper or anybody that is filming airsoft, the biggest bane of everything you do is batteries and where you're going to mount everything. And cords. Cords are a bitch. So a while back, I actually took a PEC box. It took me 5 different PEC boxes to order to figure which one would work. And I took a bunch of those, like 3850 batteries. I've soldered them together, like in series or parallel, I can't remember. And then I took the USB portion off of one of them so that I could run a gun camera for more than, an hour or two, which most batteries, now they have giant batteries if you want to strap one to your camera or your gun. But that was something I always wanted to do 3D printed. I want to be able to just put like an empty socket for each battery so that you can take your own batteries and throw them in, and it looks like a PEC box, and it gives you either 1 or 2 USB outs so that you record all day and it looks cool. Because like we said, airsoft's all about looking cool, There's a guy here in the UK, a friend of mine, he goes by the name callsign Sinistram, and he's made like a fake mag thing that has a battery in it that has USB ports. And I can't remember if he's running a standard VSR stock or whether he's got one of the Maple Leaf SL1 or MLC 1 or 2s. But he might be worth talking to because me and him talk a lot about designs and stuff. And I know that he was working on something like that because I remember him showing me and I'm like, I don't record. But that's pretty cool. Like, even I appreciate the ball ache of having cameras and cables and obviously Silly Ghillie's got a VSR and he's like routed his cables through the stock with a button that's got a battery pack in the butt stock and loads of cool stuff. Okay.
But you think he literally wakes up, records, goes to bed, dreams about recording. Like, he's obviously obsessed, same as KM is. But who else has been? Jason Gordon says representing D14.
Yes. Jason Gordon is a fellow sniper DMR player.
Yeah, he's got an SRS from Amped.
Yes. Yeah, he got the I had the A1. I got rid of it and got the gaming computer, so that allows me to play games. But anyways, he got the lighter weight one, and I picked it up, and I had never picked up anything but an A1 before, and I was like, oh my god, why did I not have this one? It's great. But Jason is he's a dedicated Ghillie player. He always plays the role, whether it's DMR, sniper, and always asking questions, and it's cool to be able to bounce off ideas. Because our community when it comes to sniping, especially at our field, we were talking about this earlier, is really dependent on where you are on the field. It's not like you guys where you can just kind of wade into a big fern bush and it envelops you and soft and just caresses your ghillie suit. We have to jump into stuff that just rips all your gear away from you.
We have angry brambles
and
other people, which are also just as hazardous as the foliage.
True. Oh my God, our foliage is terrible, man. I literally picked up over 6 months 5 pieces of halo screen and at least 20 artificial leaves off the field when I'm working, which is just a fun thing for me to do. So, so that really, and because our field is only 36 acres, has a lot more buildings than there are woods. So
only 36. That's for a UK site. That's big.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I guess it's really just perspective because we have probably 50 shipping containers and odd wooden buildings that are still standing.
How many people is on a normal game day for you guys? Like if you go to like a typical local sort of site, what's the sort of
Let's
turnout?
say Saturday. We do both days there. We didn't always do that. And I know you guys play Sunday. That's really kind of like your day to go, right? That's kind of how you do it.
There's more and more places are now doing Saturdays as well. Like there's a couple places where I play, a place called Battle Lakes. They do Saturday and Sunday, and they do like a deal if you book both days. The second day is like half price or something. But yeah, for years over here, it was Sunday, and it was only like every other Sunday because there was like 7 sites, whereas now there's
less mainstream. That's why. Think about that. Less mainstream when it was, springers were still a thing, back when 10 years ago. That's come a long way. But anyways, getting back to your question, we do about 120 on a Saturday. It just depends, man. We also have a lot of events, even smaller events that we pull in a couple hundreds, 300s. We have games that we hold that have had upwards of 450, 550. I think one year we had a game with 650 registered players. That was insane. It was like a hail. It was like raining BBs in every portion of the field. You really couldn't move.
There's a sweet spot, isn't there? Like there's the site I play at. They always have lowish numbers, but the low numbers work very well at the site. Whereas there's other sites where, and obviously no names mentioned, but they're not equipped to have the amount of people they do, and it just makes it shit because it's just chaos and it's disorganized. So I like, unless it's like a proper event, like obviously you guys obviously do a lot of mill sims over there. I'm forever seeing various mill sims over there, whereas here we have mill sims, and that they obviously are there throughout the year, but skirmishes and film sims are sort of the main thing we have over here.
Well, when I spoke to James about him about how there was a lot, like you said, a lot of people that moan in the UK and all that, and I think
that's a British thing, by the way. That's not just airsoft. That's just a British thing.
Yeah, it's always been really nice to me. So I mean, whatever. Everybody bitches, whether it's in front of their friends or to their loved one or whatever. But anyways, it's really finding balance, honestly, when it comes to like how you want to play. I think there's a lot of people that just feel like airsoft is just a thing they do, and they don't really care if they do well at it or not. And whereas guys like James and maybe probably you are more competitive, and you want to have fun, and you want to enjoy community and do all that fun stuff to do it together, but you also want to win because winning is fun.
Yeah,
and I think
I'm not keeping score.
Above,
it is
people think you're kind of a dork for it. They don't take you seriously because you're so serious about it, about winning.
It's the same. It is very much the same here. Like there's people that just go, I'm going to go airsoft on Sunday and I'm just going to mess around and try and have a good time. And they just do that. They're happy doing that. And then you get, we call them elitists, who are people that have spent like £500 on a pair of trousers. Like their clothes cost more than their gun sort of thing. And they're like deadly serious. Like they'll look at you in disgust if you're not wearing like £500 jacket to go over your £500 trousers. And you get the meal sims, and they go either way. Like sometimes they'll be very role play. So you have like your NPCs and people in character, and like you'll get shot and you'll make a big fuss about it, and it's quite funny. And then there's the other, they just cheat because they just want to win. Like they can't be seen to lose.
That's everywhere.
And yeah, but it's not
headshot.
Bad. Yeah, headshot sorts that right out. I generally just go because I stopped airsofting for years. Like I did private stuff and like range shooting, but gaming, I stopped for like 2.5, 3 years. I just got fed up with it. And then I only really got back into it because one of my friends who's not too far from me was just hounding me to go because they'd got into it. And then I started going and I really got into it. And I'm not that competitive. But Ed, silly Ghillie, comes to the same site. And the first time we go there, he's all cocky about how he's going to get me and that I'm out of shape and I'm not very good anymore and all this crap. So he switches teams at lunchtime. Smashed him twice on that day. Last time he went, I switched team, smashed him 3 times. So currently, I'm not competitive, but if he turns up at the site, I am game on. Like, I am pulling out all the moves.
Test yourself. That's cool. I understand that. That's, I don't always want to play with the better team when we play a D4 team. We have our community's a little bit of everything. We have a speed soft element. We have the snipers. We got your kids that just come out with their hoodies and their jeans. It's funny. That display of like how man grew from fish and
and then back down again. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah, but I can see it. Like I'm out there so much. Like okay, this is a rental kid. He's never been here. And then you got the kid who played one time and bought his own gun because the gun is super clean and he's wearing like the hoodie and the jeans and it just progresses up, man. It's just funny to watch. Anytime I see people with new gear, it's so crispy and flat, they get the plate carrier. This looks like it came off the shelf. Oh, that looks like a new plate carrier, just silly things like that, man. It's like, I really love about this game, just if you spend enough time in it, you start to notice things just out of the corner of your eye.
Sniping is the main thing. Like, and I think we were touched on this is like when you started, so you said you started about 12 years ago?
I started playing airsoft about 12 years ago. I didn't start sniping until I started watching KM videos, and then I sort of got into the like recon because I was still rocking the Redline N7, like an M4. I didn't really have the proper setup for it, and then and then I started doing my own ghillie. I did like the artificial jute ghillie, and it looks really cool, and you think you did such a great job until you go out there and use it and it's falling down over your face and get caught on everything, and then just dead.
And you boil alive.
Yeah, trying to find something better. And so within the last it was COVID. I got the suit right before COVID. James gave me a suit when he came to Texas, and I took the opportunity of COVID and just hanging out at home to start crafting. And here we are, like 3 years later.
Yeah.
So now see the picture. I'm balls deep in sniping and airsoft.
I can't remember what other picture I had. Oh, we don't. See, that's a more recent-ish because I can.
Yeah. So that's actually I couldn't get a hold of a KMCS hoodie, so I got like the Russian substitute. It's a little different. It's kind of the same features. And I got some Halo screen from someone, and I used that. And then as soon as I got that, the AGM popped up when it was available, and now even One Shot has some. He actually sent me some. So I got a chance to craft on that, and I've been rocking that green for the summer, trying to. It's just gotten too hot to play. It's
I was going to say, so for sniping for you guys, because obviously your temperature is like your cold is colder than us, your hot is hotter than us, and obviously whereas everywhere in the UK is pretty much greenery and forest, we've got like a few. We used to have a site called the Quarry, which was exactly what you'd think it would be, a quarry. And we've got a few little indoor sites, but you guys, like, I've watched, like, I don't watch airsoft content. If it's technical stuff, I'll watch it. But in terms of entertainment, I don't really watch a huge amount of stuff. But I used to watch Brain Exploder, and he used to play definitely. It quite, and Jet to a degree. I used to watch some of his old stuff. And, like, everyone in the UK, they could tell you they've gone to 10 sites, but you look at the video, you'd be like, it's probably the same site. Whereas over there, the scale and just the variety you have from like desert buildings to like proper thick forests to mountainous to like, you seem to have everything. Whereas we're like, yeah, we got some trees, a couple of fields.
That's funny. It's all about, I mean, from where you're standing, where I'm standing, I want to be in those bushes that you guys got. I want it to.
And yeah.
Soft forest ground.
It's not soft. I don't know where you've got this from. We've got angry bushes. Like, they will shred you to pieces.
Okay. All right. Don't ruin my dream, dude. I really want to go over there and play. I will.
We've got lovely grass. The best grass.
Bucket list is to be over there at some point in the next couple of years to play some sites with you guys. It's just too many people that I know, and this is the extent of how we can talk. Which isn't terrible. But look, Silly Ghillie's in the chat. What's up, Silly Ghillie?
He's come to defend his honor.
Oh, Hutchie's in here too. I love watching some Hutchie videos. He's like so methodical and smart.
Hutchie is an angry bush.
Yeah, he has some really great advice. I try to catch his live videos when he does tech stuff in his little, I'm assuming is a little garage or a little...
Yeah, he's got like a little outdoor house thing. Like I've known Mark for years, like for ages, and he doesn't live that far from me. So I haven't gamed with him recently, but we used to game together. And I'm lucky enough that I think KM is probably about 3 hours from me. Hutchie and Ed, or Silly Ghillie, are both within an hour from me. Grey Fox, do you know him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Gary, he's a really lovely guy. He's a couple of hours from me. Hadron's north of me by about 4 hours. But I've been on holiday with Hadron. We went to Amsterdam. Like, him and his partner, me and my partner, we've been to a few times. But someone in the comments has just pointed out a good site, which is Hutchie. So there's a place called the Bear's Head in France. And all of us, like me, James, Hutchie, we all went there. We've been there a few times. But that is a site, no matter where you are in the world, you need to go to. It's basically an old World War fort up a mountain. And so imagine, like, obviously the mountain, you've got like an external forested perimeter, and then like a 30-foot deep drop into a dried out moat, which has rat runs that lead you up into the fort. And it's just crazy. Like, the quality of it is insane. And the players, like, I think every stream this comes up, but playing like a normal skirmish against people here, and then you go there, it's just night and day different. Like if you're over there, let's say you're at a site, you're sniping away, you've found yourself a comfortable bush that isn't violating you. If you take shots at people, do they stand still, look confused? Do they angrily just sidestep to a tree? Or do they actually try and hunt you down? Because that's generally the only three things that ever happens.
I mean, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different opportunities to answer this one. They could stand there and they're looking around for you. They're doing that thing, or they're trying to use to their buddies, as far as sniping goes, most of the time, like I said, I run that 50-foot gun at D14, and a 48 at 50 feet there's no denying it. Especially, I've watched some of my videos lately, gun hits that ricochet so hard that the people just call it. You know what I mean? It's just whack. Just a schwack. Sometimes it's the sound that gets people, I think, when it hits, not necessarily the feeling. Because over here, and this goes back to, why I think we have a lot of milsims here is because we love guns, and this is the United States. There's no denying it.
It goes hand in hand, really, doesn't it?
Not everybody feels the same way. I understand. That's fine. You can feel that way. But there's a lot of try-hards here. There's a lot of people that really want to feel that I'm U.S. Special Forces from whatever era. The guys from Task Force Neptune, I know Pete, he does that. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him. He's buddies with the Cam. But his guys, Task Force Neptune, they're like hardcore training. They're almost like a more chill version of GMR.
Okay.
So I think a lot more people are wearing over here more of the Special Forces look, which usually means a lot of gear, which usually means it's a little harder to feel hits sometimes. So you kind of have to take each player for what they're, like, is that kid wearing a huge sweater? Is he going to know that he got hit? The longer I play, the more I'm like, okay, man, you didn't call it. I'll just try to shoot you again.
That's the difference. Like, from the people that I've spoken to stateside, and you see it online in the community, obviously, like, if you look at UK, obviously Europe and the various countries in it, and obviously you guys over there, the division on, not the division, but how it's dealt with in terms of headshots, which is obviously a big one, hit taken, and cheat calling. So you summarized it there. He might be wearing something and he didn't know. So you're not going to shout at him. You're just going to try and shoot him again. Over here, that'll be on YouTube. There'll be swearing. Like, people just go mad for it. Whereas like headshots over there, I've yet to really see anything from, not that there's a huge amount of American snipers, not like KM, Bodge-Ups, Novritch, etc.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem to be you guys that bothered by it, compared to us anyway.
It's there, and we deal with it from time to time, especially being an admin. Having a basically, you guys want to argue about this. If it ever gets to that point where people are up in each other's face, it happens, and that's going to happen anywhere. Whether it's if somebody disagrees with what you say at a store and they just happen to hear you, they're probably going to say something, but it does not really going to happen very often. I've just gone to the
rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that just seems easy? Just let fate decide.
Yeah, no one's right or wrong. Like, no one has an opinion. It's just your luck.
Now, here's another thing, and interesting. And I had an experience at D14 where I thought I knew exactly the situation that had happened. Somebody yelled at somebody, and then there was this and that happened. Nothing physical. And the player that I sent off the field was actually not the player that I should have sent off the field. And I apologized to that player after he had shown everybody his video that he had on his head. So we are, as admins, under scrutiny the same way that players are to make the right calls. And sometimes it goes to the video, and that it's so easy now to go to Bluetooth mode on or Wi-Fi on your GoPro and look on a phone and make a decision. We've gotten, we sat players down for a game or sent them off for the day based off of a video that somebody just happened to be recording. So that's another thing I think the airsoft is where technology, not just the guns and everything, the cameras have kind of changed the way. Either maybe it helps people be more honest, when it comes to like what's actually happening live, because we all know that you can edit your videos and make it look like you're gargantuan.
I think,
to be honest, like I tried my last video, I did 3 rounds of 5-minute games and had to be aggressive and ended up getting shot all 3 times. But that's just the way it goes. You just got to deal with it.
See, with cameras, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. They give you an opportunity, from an admin point of view at least, where obviously, let's say you've got 2 players and one of them's like, I hit so-and-so in the head and then he carried on shooting me and he should be dead. If they're both wearing cameras, you go, all right, well, one of you's probably not even trying to be a dick. You probably did think you hit him and the other person thinks they hit you. Because at the end of the day, I think people still forget you're shooting a little white ball. A breeze, a bug, a leaf, a sneeze, like anything is going to make that go everywhere other than where you wanted it. But I also think cameras are a get out of jail free card, because I've seen people cheat and then, to avoid being called out for cheating, just shout louder than the other person with the camera and bluff it, because now the other person's gone, well, maybe I didn't hit him and now I'm going to look like a dick. So I think there's good and bad to it. Sorry, I'm just reading a comment, funny enough, from Eric.
About shooting teeth out. How many have you ever shot somebody's tooth out?
No, I don't go. I will go for a headshot if it's the only thing. But the running joke with me is I go for hands.
Oh.
Because seeing people drop shit is fucking funny.
Oh, yeah.
They go to throw a grenade, drop that. They go to wave their friend over and they get shot in the palm of the hand. They don't want to wave anymore. They're pointing because they've been shot and they're doing dead man talking. Tell you what, they stop pointing. And you know about it. Like, no damage is done. But if you get shot in the hand, it's just such a reactive... Like, with the head, you tend to want to do that.
Sure.
Whereas with the hand, you're immediately like, what the fuck? It just has that reaction.
Funny. I saw a guy shooting over a fence, and I just saw the BBs kept going. So I was, I stuck my hand up a couple times. 3rd time, he got me. Shot me right in the damn hand, man. That's that's why gloves, kids. Wear gloves.
Yeah, I'm not against headshots. I think my argument to headshots has been, and no one can ever call me a hypocrite because I've been saying this since I sat in front of a camera. The day that someone stops full auto, I would never shoot will be the day I stop shooting people in the head. But all the time, I can shoot one BB at one person from a distance, yet someone can shred me to pieces from 5 meters away. I would rather get shot once at 30 meters by 2.3 joules than some HPA guy at 1.3 who's literally going to cut me in half. So I think it's the risk you take. Like a lot of snipers as well. We're stupid. We don't wear mesh masks. We wear a balaclava and go, teeth will be fine.
Brain exploder over my goggles. Connecting. Peace, man. I love it.
Yeah, the silly Ghillie showed me something the other day. He's got like a balaclava that's got like a pocket cut in it. And he's got like meshes that he puts in. And it's great. But I've never worn mesh other than when I was playing at the mall at CQB. But you do take the risk. It's one of those you just forget about it.
I had too much dental work as a child. My eyes, and my teeth are the only things. Well, and my knees, and my ankles. Dude, I'm covered from head to toe. People look at me and they're like, "Are you gonna wear that?" Like that's what I wear every time I play. Like my get up starts with everything covered, like all my clothes, whether it's my under outfit, t-shirt, or long sleeve or whatever, socks, underwear, BDUs are all covered in permethrin. You guys use that over there?
We've got something else similar, but yeah, we're lucky, like because we're so cold and miserable. Even the bugs aren't really interested in living here. So like we get mozzies, like mosquitoes and stuff, and we do get ticks occasionally, but not to the extent.
You guys call mozzies? That's awesome.
Yeah, mozzies, little mosquitoes.
I like that. We have chiggers in the south, and they are it's like a microscopic mite. It's like some sort of younger version of a particular mite, and they get up underneath your skin, and they do things to your skin that last for weeks.
Okay.
So I prep with that, underwear, socks, all that, and then I've got like a balaclava around my neck, usually covered if I'm wearing my short sleeve, like in this picture. I got these like arm covers that are covered in permethrin, and they've got like a thumb hole. If I have my long sleeve, I usually have a long sleeve like Under Armour outfit. And I don't wear BDUs generally when I play. I wear Under Armour cooling pants. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, almost. So that allows me just to stay like super flexible. And when you're trying to climb around stuff, that really helps. And then I wear the cam pants over this one. So I try to keep it as lightweight as possible, but my face is covered, my mouth is covered, my ears are covered. So it's just part about getting older,
So ghillie suit wise, do you run a full suit, or do you find that you just sometimes wear the jacket and then just wear like BDUs bottoms?
When I first started, I only had the jacket before James sent me the pants to go with it. So I did rock that for a minute, but I really like wearing the ghillie pants. It completes the look if you're going to do, because we're not as lush as you guys are. In certain places we are, but not low to the ground. It's more, thin brush and stuff like that has little things off of it, but it's thick enough to not get through, but it's thin enough to like kind of shoot around it. I do like a full suit if I had my choice, but obviously the weather really.
I was going to say, with the temperatures you get, must be limiting.
This picture I'm wearing like a stretchy Under Armour that's cut at the sleeves, and even the underarm is cut so that it breathes, and then stretchy pants underneath it. Even then, it's still really hot. Sometimes being covered in the sun is actually not a bad thing, as long as it's not too hot. But once you start to hit like 100 to 103, you just retain heat too much, and it's you really have to listen to yourself. And I think it's a part about maturing, especially as an airsoft player, is putting your fun next to your like body as far as healing for the next day. You were talking about that. You feel it for a week, after you climb and doing all that stuff. Because I don't climb and do all that stuff. I'm a maintenance guy for my job. I work with my hands. So I do heavy lifting from now and again, but I'm not climbing under and over boulders and trees and trying to get away from people in the woods, down hills, up hills and stuff. So I definitely feel it. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments looking to see who's in here. They probably feel the same way.
Stephen Bayless has just joined from Hadron.
Oh, snap. What is up? Hello, sir. Thank you for your contributions to the Airsoft Sniper community and your constant advice.
Steve's another guy I've known for years. He's a very, very nice guy. There was something else I was going to ask you.
Hero Shark. Oh, I was going to tell you, got a new. Oh, I think I mentioned it to you last week, but I have been trying to build a Redline 249 for the longest time.
Yeah, you sent me the videos the other day.
Yes, Redline decided not to do the 249 because the market had already been kind of cornered on that. No reason to have another product. Same reason we don't have a Bolt at the moment. There's just a bunch of companies that have been doing it for years now. But anyways. The last piece was the hop up. You know, everybody say bull gear, and I have one of their box mags on there where it's auto, connected. All you have to do is remove the box and put a new one on, and it always stays connected. But the hop up was like the worst part of it.
They're notoriously bad.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Like, I don't understand how they came up with that design. I would take a crappy M4 plastic gear hop up over what they give you that's metal, generally, from Classic Army, A and K. But the Gen 3 Bull Gear 249 hop up, they have one for PKM. They're coming out with one for the lightweight, featherweight 249, which is cheating, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're going to support, you're going for the weight, right? You want the chunkiness.
Yeah, you really want to have that bipod. You want to lay down and shoot with it because, most saw gunners, I guess, in the real army aren't going to be standing up, hip firing, or shouldering a 249.
Going back to games earlier, so the site I play at, when we were talking about skirmishes and stuff, they're very strict about what gun you can use. So the rules are basically a little bit more serious than a skirmish in terms of like respawns and ammo and stuff. But one of the rules is if you can only be a support gunner and use full auto if the weapon you've brought is a legitimate LMG. So you can't.
So like real world, it's got to be like.
You have to use a 249. You can't just put a box mag on an M4. And like a sniper has to be a sniper. You can't just put a scope on an M4 and it's a DMR. It has to be. So unfortunately, no MK carbine kits unless you plan on using it as a pistol at pistol limits still, which I don't mind. I think like a G&G Firehawk that's like this big with a drum mag is not an LMG.
No.
But now you find that there's when you hear an LMG, like there's only ever like two. You turn up and there's like just two or three, and it's the only thing that shoots full auto on sight. So all of a sudden you just hear like a little burst, and you're like, "Oh, was that a coincidence that three people just shot really quickly?" And then you just hear
mower, the turn on the mower.
Yeah. There's definitely a place for LMGs and airsoft when used properly. And yours looks cool. Like obviously, I haven't got anything to share on here, but there's a few people in this stream. Steve would be very interested in that because I think he's got a saw.
Yes, I will send you some pictures, Steven. It is amazing. I got a bunch of people to shoot it. I even got to one of our head admins. His name is Old Man Steve, and he's about 53 years old. He's a Marine, always a Marine, and he carried the 249 when he was in service. And I gave him a chance. Obviously, you're not going to get any recoil or anything out of it, but I let him put it up on the stand and shoot it, and he was just utterly blown away by it. And he's an airsoft player himself. He comes out, his kids play, and he works at the field, but he thought it was great. A couple other military guys got a chance to play with it, and it was literally shooting 2.8s at about 300 feet at like a head size. It's amazing what that hop does. But
so your red line, you've gone for the electric one, haven't you?
That one is electric, definitely. I added a micro switch for the box mag, so there's two batteries, one for FCU and one for box mag, which is kind of the workaround when the FCUs don't have control. I know Polar Star has that, and I'm sure Wolverine has that too. It's rare that I play with it, but I have all the classes. I've got a DMR red line that's electronic. I just built, from the leftover parts, I built a Scar H.
Is that the one I've got the picture of?
No, that is the Scar SSR. That's the sniper platform.
Yeah, with the extended rail.
Yeah, so the nice thing about our field, you can use whatever I can use a sniper rifle as a point blank rifle. You can do that.
You just can't go the other way. You can't use a pistol like an MK23 kit as a DMR.
No, I could do that. Yeah, I can do that. I just couldn't use like an AAP01 as a sniper. You know what I mean? I couldn't use it at sniper velocity.
End of the month, Loki Hop Chamber. You'll be able to use it as a sniper.
I watched you guys had on the last stream, right? With,
I think it was the last one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was green, right? A green hot or
yeah.
That's nice, man. It's awesome.
It's currently sat in my AP at the workshop.
To buy one. Right now, I'm really working on. I'm really kind of in love with this right here.
Yeah, the Tree Dust Carbine, isn't it?
Yeah, Carbine kit with Hadron parts here up in the hop area, and it's so fun. It's so quiet, and I really have been trying to do an HPA setup. I have the stick mags and the primary arms adapter. But the problem is it ends up coming down here, and it's kind of hard to lay on the ground with a stick mag.
There's a company here in the UK. They're called AirTac, and
that's the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just got that part, and I'll be honest. I felt like the kit was not really up to the standards that I was hoping for, and only because when it uses a TM, like a VZ drum mag, it's like a 400 round. We have one for MP5 also. But when I got it and I installed my own mag on it, the base just didn't, the pins weren't long enough, and I ended up trying to repin it, and I just did not have any success with it. But I liked where it was going. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure if you've ever done this before, bought a product, it didn't really work the way you wanted. You try to mod it and you break it or you do something silly to it. I did that. So my workaround is to use the HPA adapter that I already have, which is the primary, and to get TM 400 round MP5 drum and stick that up there.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it's just airsoft. Not everything fits together. It's M4 compatible, sure. M4 compatible, right? Which brand?
Which year was your M4 made? Yeah,
but there's a lot of people who do good products for the 23, the SSX3 or MK23, depending on which one you have.
There's a guy here, and I think I saw him earlier in the stream. His name's Richard. He's got a company called Solotron Airsoft, but he's done a carbine kit for the MK, which
I've seen it.
For the price is brilliant. It does what the Tridus does basically in terms of it's a front and then it's a back, and then once you've got it on, you can put your stocks and your grips and whatever. But it's just a very different design, and it's got honeycomb on it, and obviously I like honeycomb. Fits in with the bee and wasp
more like SRU brand. SRU does do a lot.
I'm not a fan. I've yet to see something that they've done that is any better than what I could print myself.
The Assassin kit they just came out with, have you seen that?
Yeah, all their kits look pretty similar.
It looks like a Star Wars gun almost.
Steve loves it. He just got I think he got the MK23 SRU kit, and he really likes it.
Yeah,
I had. What did I have? It wasn't an MK23 kit. It was a Glock kit. I think I had, and it was just a bit shit. Like just quality wise, it looked like my first 3D printer quality.
What are you drinking there? What's the official drink of SniperMechanic tonight?
Beer for a change. Usually it's whiskey. But
is that that looks like something from San Miguel?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It's hot, so I wanted something refreshing.
Italian sparkling water from Kirkland's. That's Costco.
See, I love sparkling water. Like no one likes it, and everyone thinks it's a really posh drink. I'm just like, I just like fizzy water. Have
you ever had Topo Chico?
No, I can't say I've heard of it.
Oh, it's like a Mexican sparkling water. It's my mother-in-law thinks it's the greatest thing ever, and it's so different from this. But I'm like, it's just sparkling water. It's okay. Everybody has their opinion. Like
what I found with sparkling water, because I got fat through lockdown, trying to diet and things, and one of the things that I used to really struggle with was fizzy drinks. So now I can happily just drink fizzy water, and I sort of have tricked myself into going, delicious fizzy water. And now I'm like, actually quite like fizzy water.
So you lost all the weight?
I did for about 3 weeks. And then I got lazy again. No, I did lose a bit of weight, but it's hard, like, because obviously I work my partner self-employed, so she's always busy. So that's finding time to cook, and then just life gets in the way. But no, we did go to the gym, walk the dog more, lost loads of weight, and then you just sort of fall out of the routine. But I'll get there again.
Ask you a question. You obviously you said you don't watch as much airsoft as you probably used to, and I can understand that because there's so much of it. I mean, there's probably like 2,000 new airsoft videos every weekend from every country, and so you just kind of take it in a little bit by little. Where would you like to go if you came here, and like what event, what facility looks cool? Like what's man, every time I see a video from there, it's amazing.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Grand Thumb did like a 72-hour meal sim or something.
Just recently?
Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
That's in Georgia or South Carolina.
I think
it's a like training facility, so it's really not built for skirmishes, but
but
it
any
was
of
like
the mil sims, there's
well, my American Milsim shirt. You've died from American Milsim alcohol poisoning.
yeah. See, we've got one big social event here in the UK called NAF, which is National Airsoft Festival.
Yes.
And that's
A
it.
big party. Come on, man. It's really not about airsoft.
No, it's drinking and socializing and potentially getting some stuff cheap while you're there. But for me, that'd be my absolute worst nightmare.
You've never been?
No, far too many people, too much chaos. I don't even think they've got enough alcohol to keep me entertained there. I'd like to go because it'd be a good hub for like me and all the guys to get together because we're all sort of about equal distance from where it is. It's kind of very central, so everyone can get to it. But I don't know. There's Jet. When I used to watch some of Jet's old stuff, all of the milsims he used to do that were like at training facilities or like derelict stuff. Anything like that would be cool because we don't have anything arid here. Like as we were saying earlier, ours is all sort of like foresty and stuff like that. So anything with structures, because again we've got some good sites here. I mean, to be fair, we've got a lot of good sites here, but
a lot of old military sites, right? Like old barracks, and I've seen that in a lot of videos.
They're slowly going and going. Like there was one recently. I think the last game was played there about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But there used to be a place in Essex called the Quarry, which was just like a proper chalk quarry. I used to play at a place called the Mall, which was basically an abandoned shopping centre. And that was great. That's gone now. Now they've got somewhere else, which I've not been to. There's a place called the Tunnels. And that's basically an old fort, underground, loads of tunnels. I went there for a Halloween game when I was about 18. And someone was dressed up in an alien costume and didn't tell anyone. And they turned all the lights off. And it was just emergency red lighting. And every now and then you just see this little tail just disappear into a corridor. And you're like, what the is that? And then no one told anyone. No one told us that there were people in costumes. So we were all shooting each other. And then out the corner of your eye in like a vent, you just see someone in a mask being like, hello.
God,
and you're like,
I'd be
who's that? What about you? Like, is there any way you've seen anyone here play that you go, oh, I'd like to go there?
Well, KM does all those videos from Phoenix, and they look like they have a pretty cool site, kind of mixed, a little of that. Where Bull Sniper plays, I think he's in Spain.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's plays in that like Call of Duty-esque sort of neighborhood. It's like elevation, small hallways and stuff. That looks like fun. Where else would I want to play? Let's see, like in the UK, man, you guys have so many fields. It's kind of hard to tell them apart. To be honest,
that's the thing. They're all sort of generic, outdoory type sites. They're all good. Like some of them are good because they just have a decent amount of players, because I've been to sites where they're a terrible site in terms of they're small. There's nothing going on, but they've just run some like really imaginative games, and they've just made it work. And then I've been to other sites where they've got all the bells and whistles and structures, and it's just crap. Because they've just not thought it out. They're just like, oh yeah, attack and defend. What? How long for? The
CQB
day.
and Airsoft makes me mad. It gets okay sometimes. And we have a lot of people that are really good at it here. Guys that know how to clear buildings and doors and stuff like that. But I'm always very verbal about how I don't like to go near buildings.
I love CQB. I love it.
Yeah. It depends on the game, I guess. I've had some good experiences, but being the last 2-3 years out in the bush, it's a whole different game, whole different learning game. It's less, it's more about being solo. From time to time, depends because we don't have that many snipers. It's rare to have more than 1 or 2 on each side. After a while we'll get like 10. It's funny. I was like, where'd you guys come from?
That was what I was going to ask right at the beginning of the stream. Oh, go on. Sorry, go on.
I'll say my one bucket list event is either Border Wars or Burgett.
Burgett would be a very good one.
Let's do that, man. Let's get a collective. Let's get everybody together and go over there, man. I'll meet you guys in the UK, and then we can trolley over or ferry over.
I was talking to James about this probably 3 years ago, so before pandemic, and there's a company that you pay, and they basically organize it. Like they transport all your gear, your hotel, your travel itinerary. So you'd all meet in the UK basically, and then once you get there, they do it. So obviously, because you've got to take your gear over there, I don't know what it's like there. When we went to France, it was pretty easy. You just said, I've got airsoft gear. Here's an email. This is the event I'm going to. My guns are this limit. And they were just like, meh. And you're fine. Yeah. Whereas
we declare everything as a firearm. You don't necessarily have to, but it's just easier, and there's less chance that they'll want to open the case and go through everything.
If you're honest, they don't care. Yeah. It's when you're like, sports, and they're like, what sports in a gun case? And you're like, other sports. It's like, it's a toy gun, mate.
Airsoft is a combat sport. If you really think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that would something would make some planning, but now that I'm on Discord here with you, maybe we can light a fire and get something like that started. I'm very interested.
Cool. Even if we could just find a good UK site, like a decent big one that had like a really good meal sim on for a weekend or something.
Yeah, I'm totally into that. I have a lot of friends with the community the laser tag community, and then the airsoft community now. So everything leads back to UK. Everything that I do, it seems like.
We're the angry hub of everything.
Yeah. It's all right.
So we were going to end this at 9, so we've got about a minute left. But
okay, damn it.
I'm going to check for any questions, and while I'm doing that, have a think if there's anything you want to ask or any shout-outs or anything you have.
Yes, I have a list. I've already mentioned a number of the names, but I'm going to go ahead and mention them again. First off, American Milsim. Been playing their games since the beginning. They gave me my first shot at a real Milsim event. Redline Airsoft, my first sponsor and brand partner. I've been with them for since 2017. D14 Airsoft, the employees, the owner Steve, and Amped Airsoft, MC Kydex, One Shot. Thank you, Eric. KM for getting me into airsoft sniping because I didn't really even think about it before then. Hadron for all his advice, and SniperMechanic for having me on his amazing show. That's my shout-outs for the day. Yes, definitely.
I would happily endorse all of them. I don't know America Milson personally, but Redline I've dealt with on a personal level when I got my first kit, and they generally really nice. I think it was Jim I spoke to back in the day, and he was lovely, really helpful.
He's nice and retired now, living in Florida.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
All the tech stuff via email and all that. So good props and kudos to him for, living the dream, man. Leaning in the boat and fishing every day. I'm all about that life.
I just imagined him sitting there with a pipe, just whittling something and being like, might make a new hose for my gun this weekend. Just rocking back and forth.
Yeah. But, man. So Airsoft community is we push communities. I push community as much as I can. And, push, help people when you can. Give them good advice, steer them clear of bad things, and push them towards good things, good products, bad products.
Yeah, I agree. You're nail on the head there. Community is, I think all of my good friends today, like more so than people that I used to obviously grow up with, are all generally through Airsoft. Like Kenny, who runs Empire. No, I'd met him at a Sniper Ops event. James, Sniper Ops event. Ed at Airsoft, although I don't actually remember meeting Ed, but Ed did say that we met at Airsoft, but I just didn't remember. But I believe him. Like, all my good friends now are all Airsoft. And like you say, it takes nothing to be kind. If you've got the energy to sit there and write something shitty about someone, you've got the same amount of time and energy to just be nice. Pass on a bit of good advice. Make a joke. Do something interesting. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how long we've got this hobby for. Obviously, Canada's got obviously what they've going on. We always have bits and bobs coming over here with idiots robbing shops with stuff. So, people treat the community like crap, but you'll miss it when it's gone. What else are you going to do on a weekend?
Exactly. It's a lot more exciting than golf. A lot more.
Oh, golf.
I love golf. Don't get me wrong. I love golf. But it's way more exciting.
I'd like it if I was rich enough to play it or good enough to enjoy it. But I am neither rich enough to pay for it or good at it to enjoy it. I just get annoyed.
Yeah, you're playing against yourself in the course, man. That's really about it, But, man, just if you guys get a chance and you don't already follow me, I'm on YouTube, Solotron Airsoft, Instagram, all the same handles. Hit me up. I'm on all three. I do this to have fun and to remember where I've been. I don't really care about being the most popular person. I make a lot of friends if I can and offer advice if I can. I get random messages about airsoft. Hey, I met you 5 years ago at this event. Can you tell me about this gun? Okay, sure, man. I'll do my best.
Right, so while you're chatting away, I'm just putting all of your socials in the chat for people. So if you're still watching the stream, carry on watching, and I'm going to put the links in for Solotron's stuff so you can give the man a follow.
Yes, and I'm always down to collab if anybody is, coming my way, or if I'm going your way and you want to collab on a video, an interview, or anything like that. Talk about your product. Let me try your product. Man, I'd love to. As long as I can help you out. I'm a guerrilla marketer. That's the best term. Get out there, use something, especially things like the SniperMechanic Wasp piston, which I have two. One in my VSR and one in my TAC 41. Highly recommend it.
I thought you just had the one in the VSR.
I started with the TAC 41.
Have you got the cylinder head for your TAC?
Yeah, buddy. I have a SniperMechanic compression system.
Ooh,
and Rat Packs spring.
I might have something to send you.
Oh.
For your... What barrel are you running in your VSR?
I have a Maple Leaf Crazy Jet 440.
I have something I'll send you. I need testers.
Okay, let's talk about it. Could it be a shorter one? Because I need to shorten up that rifle. It's just like a friggin' boat.
Yeah, it's a bucking. It's
VSR. No. Yeah. 440 would be fine.
Yeah, it's an updated Flamingo bucking. So I've got an AEG one coming, but they're not quite ready yet. They're with the first batch testers, but the VSR one is, I've had a lot of feedback, but I think I've got 2 buckings left, 150 and 160. So you've got an MK, you've got a VSR.
Yeah. So I have many. Actually, I've moved all over to the SSX23 because they're just so easy to get here.
Yeah, you guys have problems with TM over there because of the licensing, don't you?
Yeah. I have had no problem finding the actual pistol, but finding parts is the hard part. You have to go to like fire support, or you have to go to China or Japan to find that kind of stuff. And like I said before, Novritch was a brand that I kind of was like, it's like the McDonald's of airsoft, But when I started using some of his stuff, and I know you're on the fence about this, but a few little things. His toolbox is great for taking apart airsoft guns, and the SSX23 does pretty much the same thing as the MK23, and the parts are readily available. And for me to be able to just order and get a new gun for like $130 or parts in within 3 or 4 days is just easier. It's just so much easier,
Yeah, with the Novritch stuff, the quality has gone up and down significantly. Like you'll have batches. Like I've got an SSG24 in a 1942 Car 98 stock,
sick.
And that was a batch 2, and flawless. Never had a single issue with it. SSG10s, I've got one that I've got as a backup, and
the bent barrel. That seems to be the SSG problem.
Again, I had a generation where everything was good, but then I had one before where the trigger springs broke almost on a daily basis, and now everyone seems to be having barrel problems. And obviously the problem is £300 is what it costs in the UK, roughly, to get an SSG-10, which is, for a rifle doing what it does, that still makes it a cheap rifle. So when you're selling however many he's selling, you've still got to remember QC. If it wasn't a popular gun and everyone wasn't on Facebook, you wouldn't hear about the issues. But because Facebook is so big now and it's a popular gun, no one really says how great it is. They just go on there to complain. But his products are fine. Like some of them I wouldn't personally use, but equally, I've got stuff I do use, and I openly say, like, oh, if you want a cheap rifle, get an SSG-10. Like, use it out of the box.
The 1-4 scope is great for my sniper rifle. Yeah. I don't need any more 4 times. And it comes with the rail, the Picatinny rails already built into it, on the part that holds the scope together. So, boom, you can put your camera on it. Perfect for me.
And the SSX-23, I'm not a huge fan of because it's got an inherent flaw that people just don't want to address. But the SSX-303, I don't think's bad. I had one the other day. I went down to Empire when he had his delivery in, and I was sort of just looking around like, yeah, what's in the box? And I saw that, and I was like, it actually doesn't feel bad. Like, it feels solid. And it's probably something I'd pick up and use myself. Like, if I didn't want to run around with my VSR or... What else do I run? SRS sometimes? And I wanted something that had a bit more... that I could be a bit quicker with. The 303 would be great. And the
No, I've heard
disassembly
the other
kit,
way.
same as you. I think the disassembly kit for the price is good. It's convenient. It literally does have everything.
I've heard the other way. I've heard that the 303. I know my friend Jeff. Shout out to K Factor, who's in the
Is that Jeff Slack?
Jeff Slack. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I saw him commenting him.
We were on. We were both on the Guerrilla Airsoft radio maybe a month or so ago. We were talking about sniping, but he's had nothing but trouble with his 303. So I'm not sure. Yeah, again, quality, and that's understandable. And when you are the McDonald's or Nike of airsoft, I guess that's gonna happen. But like I said, some of the stuff yes, and some of the stuff no. I can understand, from Nav, but yeah,
He's whether you like him or not, or you whatever, because obviously it's very Marmite. A lot of people really like him, and a lot of people dislike him. I like some of the stuff. I dislike other stuff. I appreciate some of the stuff he does for the community. I really disrespect a lot of other stuff he does for the community. But what he has done, that almost everyone in airsoft business has benefited from, is he's grown the sport. Same as KM, same as everyone who gets behind a camera, yourself included, who promotes the sport and makes engaging content. Or even more so, like, the only reason I know about you, is I said when we were off stream, is I just kept seeing you in the community. You and Caleb, and I was like, you don't need to you're not trying to be the next big YouTuber. You're not here for any reason other than you're just being helpful. That's why I was like, I'm gonna get him on the stream. We'll have a chat. And obviously we chatted before the stream anyway about like the red line stuff. But to see you on person, get you on camera, and obviously
video log where I've been, and look back 10 years and 20 years, 30 years, all those YouTube's still around, and see where I was at when I was 30 years old, 40 years old, whatever. I'll keep playing until I can. So, and if people can benefit from that, I think that's great,
I imagine that you're just generally really helpful, like on a site.
I try to, man. I try to engage people, especially since it's a big deal. People take, Bo from American Milsim, who's the owner, has one of the best sayings when he talks to his customers for the briefing. He says, one of the most important things that you can give people is your time, and you are giving us your entire weekend to play this game or at this site or whatever, and time is money too, because you think about it here, if you go to an AMS event, depending on where it is, you're easily out $1,000 easily,
That's crazy.
And that's, well,
I spent
travel,
less than $1,000 to go to France and back for a weekend and play. Jeez.
So when people take their whole weekend or their holiday weekend to come out and spend time with you, it's really important that you try to engage with them, maybe peddle some products, peddle whatever you're doing for your company or your friends or whoever you might be representing while you're there, And the best advice I can give to players, especially, I don't think there's that many new players in the stream, but if they do happen to see this, is to be well known, be respected, and you will benefit more from that than trying to be the coolest person out there and the best, baddest ass airsofter ever. You will build relationship with companies. So, example, One Shot Airsoft. Eric and I have been talking back and forth. I've been buying stuff from him, and somehow we got on the topic of maybe joining up and being a rep for them and pushing their products, wearing their T-shirts. So that just came from asking him about VSR stuff. That's asking him about
He loves the VSR.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love. I love my VSR. I want to build another one.
This is the problem. I've got many. They're just reliable. Like, you generally put them together, you spend a bit of time, and that's it. You take it out of the bag after like 5 months. It's the same. Every other gun that I've ever used from every other brand, I just don't have the same trust. Whereas VSR's king, as someone just put in the comments.
VSR is king. And starting out, people told me, some people and people that I highly respect, especially this guy Tank, who plays in my field, Aaron, gave me lots of really good advice, and he pushed me towards the SRS. But to be honest, as good as that SRS shot, my VSR shoots amazing, and I think a lot of it is because of the TDC, the technology, the 3D printing, and the top-down center mods for sniper rifles have really changed the game. I mean, bro, you're floating a 48 like straight line, like almost like a 22. Obviously slower, you can see it, but man, it's amazing. People that don't pick up sniper rifles, and then you give them one that's fully tricked out, Wasp piston, Maple Leaf, Action Army, all that stuff, Tritos, and they are utterly amazed by the way that it shoots. hopefully just handing it off, maybe you can convince 1 or 2 people to come and be a sniper. I'm always invite people to, hey man, I got 2 guns. I got 2 sniper suits. I actually have 3. Speaking of that, I picked up KMCS 1.0 recently, basically uncrafted and in my size. So I'm excited. I'll be covering that with AGM from Kicking Mustang.
I like the gym ones. The color's different.
Did
you notice
it's a little darker. It's got a bluish sort of tint to it as opposed to like the yellowish you can see in that picture of it. That's a little different. That's the Russian, slightly different camo, but pretty much the same thing. But yeah, man, sniper is king. It's a totally different world than the rest of airsoft, and there's a reason I think that it's the best advice to tell people to start with like an M4, start with something easy to fix, easy to find parts, magazines, etc., and then move your way into the sniper world. And if you really like airsoft, you'll eventually find the sniper rifle, I think. Unless you play with the team and all they do is M4s and kick doors and stuff, and you're kind of stuck doing that. I think everybody should try it.
I think so. I think it teaches, because everything you learn, you can then apply to any other role you play, whether it's positioning, silhouetting, flanking, like every aspect is transferable, and it's just a different way of playing. Like people get bored of running around with guns, just like constantly pushing targets the same way you attack and defend, to then just have a little play around with sniping, like realizing that you can get close enough to touch people if you're good, or have people walk past you and scare the shit out of them. Whereas you can't really do that when you're running around wearing multicam and an M4 charging people. Doesn't really have the same effect. Whereas when someone just lurches out from a pile of bushes, you're like, what the shit? Did not see you there.
You died. Dark Souls. Paulo, Sergio. Oh, Paulo, what's up, man? He's got an ASG M40. That's the, isn't that your dream gun? Well, the M40 is your dream gun, right?
No, the M40 was my gun I wish I never sold, but there's 2.
Yeah.
ASG make an M40 sport line, which is meh. Nothing really fits. You can make stuff fit, but it's not great. Right. But then they did the Macmillan, the VFC licensed M40A3, and I think that was the very first blog post I ever wrote. And I sold the rifle for like £300, and it was worth a lot more. And now that rifle is discontinued, and if you do find one new, the rifle alone without any work done to it is about £450. And then
it's a classic.
It wasn't very popular because it was just a little bit too pricey at a time when you could get other VSRs like a JG Bar 10 for like £80, and you still had to upgrade the thing. But yeah, I definitely would get a Pro line again if I could. I liked the feel of it. I like the look of the M40. But I think we've caught up on all the questions. We've done the shout-outs.
James is doing, he did an install of all the stuff into his new TM MK. It's on Instagram if you guys look and see. Very nice.
Nice. He asked me for a bucking the other day, and I was like, you've got about 1 million of my buckings. What more do you want? Now I know why.
Yeah, I had bought one, put it in a Glock, and I ended up selling that Glock. It was the first gen, I think, of your... no, I think I got it from Steven. He was selling it along with his parts, right? He sells your parts on his... Yeah,
he's one of the...
That's right.
Empire's the distributor, so they sell to other shops and obviously the public. And then you've got resellers who are other shops that sell it, like Amped, One Shot, Hadron, Mantis Concept Brothers, and airsofter.be, I think, currently. And I think there might be a few more coming, hopefully. But I've got some stuff coming out at the end of the month, so hopefully you'll see that on the stateside soon. Well, yeah, man. To be fair, I think that you guys, your postage isn't horrific. Like, Empire's sent stuff to Eric.
Small stuff. Yeah, you're generally... I can get stuff from One Shot for about $20 shipped, so I would expect 30 to 35, almost 40 sometimes, depending where it's coming from Europe. Yeah, majority of it's the shipping costs. 35 is about an even number that I remember every time I order from over there. I haven't really ordered anything from over there recently, like from Europe per se, since COVID, because I was having a lot of trouble at that time it was taking like 3-4 months.
Stuff still is now. Like, even though we're right next to Europe, there's stuff that's taken ages. I can't, like, that Redline kit, Amped got that to me in like 3 days. So from America, I think they sent it on a Thursday and I got it on the Tuesday. So literally like 2 working days.
Got the Concorde over there.
I sent a spare part to someone for a piston because they took their gun apart and lost something. It took 5 days. They were 20 minutes down the road from my house. I could have just dropped it off. And I was like, oh, I'll just post it to 5 days it took. And you think then Amped is sending me something the other side of the world in 3 days. It's madness.
Strange. I just ordered something from Japan last night and it said estimated delivery. It was like 3 days.
It just says 42. You're like, oh, okay. See you that next birthday.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah.
Jeff says, Solo, let's go into UK next year.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally down, man. I want to build I'm trying to build a sniper collective. I want to build a team of snipers, and I want to call them the Zip Tie Mafia. What do you think about that?
I like that. That'd be good.
Yeah, Zip Tie Mafia, or like the Shugu Gang, you know?
I don't think we can get Shugo over here anymore. I think they finally realised how bad it was for you.
Oh.
And it's just sort of vanished. James loves Shugo. He's been pushing that for ages. If anyone should have ever sponsored James, it should have been Shugo.
Yes, I definitely got... I think I started picking that up because James was doing it.
It is very good stuff, and it lasts for ages.
Yeah, that'll dabble do you. Let's talk about real quick, since we got him in there, let's talk about AGM. About the fact that it's a cheaper alternative to the other product on the market. And
it seems to be.
Same thing. It looks the same. You know?
From what I've seen of it, and I've reviewed Halo Screen, I did that on my blog ages ago. Having had both of them in my hands, I genuinely think, and I could be wrong, and I don't care, like, I'll buy whatever one. Like, if one's cheap and available, I'll buy that one. If one's expensive and it's the only thing available, well, you buy that one. But I think the only difference is IR. The colour, the material, the weight. Like, if you cut 2 sizes of equal size and weigh them, the density of the material is the same. So I would hazard a guess it is the same thing. It's been researched, found, whatever else, and it's just not IR. But I cannot, in my 15 odd years of airsoft, go, you know what? I'd have come better out of that engagement if I had IR protective leaves.
Sure. I don't usually play at night. Not like that.
It's just a small... It's cool to have, don't get me wrong. Like, I get why the price is more, because treating something with IR, or to stop IRR, is very expensive. Like, but if I was sensible, that'd be my step, is I would say, here's a product that I have an IR version of, which is what you know, and here's an un-IR'd entry-level product. But they're both good products. As I said, I've got Halo Screen on that suit behind me, which you can't see because it's too dark, and I've got AGM on another suit down next to me there, and I'd happily use both. But yeah, one is considerably cheaper than the other. Even for you guys, I imagine it is.
Large pack coming from One Shot. That's Halo Screen in that picture, and then I'll have AGM on my 1.0 full smock, which I'm super excited because I'm going to take my time to craft that one. I'm going to do like Silly Ghillie does, and I'm going to put like all the zip tie loops in first and see how it goes. Because normally I just kind of go to town on it, you know, like, okay, put some here, how's that look, you know?
Structure's the way forward. That you'd be amazed at how much time that saves when you just pre-zip everything and then just sort of do one arm, see the density, do the next arm, do the back. But yeah, I like crafting. I think it's therapeutic.
I agree. I just picked up the wooden handle leather. What do they call it? A leather. Yeah, the little poke.
I call it a ghillie shank because it's just like a little stabby knife. Yeah.
I got a three pack. They're not real big. They're only maybe that big, but it's got the wooden handle, so it should be enough. And I'm excited to be able to craft on things other than ghillie suits, as James has been doing on his stuff recently.
Yeah, crafting straight into BDUs is cool. Time consuming, and you will stab yourself countless times. Like, you generally will prick your... every 2 seconds, you'll just turn away, or your missus will call you, and you'll just go, stab. And you'll just be like...
bloody everywhere. Carbon camo.
Yeah. You'll just... Every ghillie suit will just have red patches on it, and you'll be like, that's from that time I stabbed myself many times.
there was a kid out at the field recently, and I take time and effort in what I'm doing. So I do like when people give me, they come up to me like, "Oh man, really like your suit." The birthday moms always love mine. They're like, "Oh my god, can you come over here and take pictures with my kids?" Okay, no problem. But I like to be able to push them towards like a product that they really can't screw up, and I think the AGM is where it's at, or Halo, whichever one you want to use, because you really can't do that wrong. I mean, you kind of can, but it's just the way that it sits, and as long as you know how to bunch things up, zip tie them together and fluff them and do all that silly stuff that we all do for crafting, I think it's a lot better than what's on the market, and especially it's coming from somebody who did artificial leaves. I don't know if you knew this, but I was actually importing like 5,000 China. Yeah, and I was dyeing them and selling them to people all over, mostly people in the United States, a couple in Canada. So that was my thing for a while, and I really enjoyed mixing colors and figure out what would look best. And there's some China leaves, man, if you do them right, they can actually imitate leaves just as well because they have light transparency as long as you dye them the correct way and you start with the right bases and you put them in the right place. So that's the nice thing about crafting too, is that there's obviously there's a beginner, medium, and advanced. But I think now that the products that are on the market are being more readily available for people, especially over here in the States, that you'll see a lot better quality ghillie suits in the future, not necessarily like 50,000 giant maple leaves, over a kid.
I like leaves. Me and Silly Ghillie often debate about leaves. Obviously, I've been doing this a long time. You've been doing this a long time. Ed's been crafting for a few years. Obviously, had like the likes of Hawkeye, and leaves have always been around. The problem is there's no bad materials. There's bad methods.
Sure.
I.e., Chinese silk leaves, if you put them on as they are terrible. But if you burn them, shred them, tumble dry them, ink them, they're good. I will happily say I still think they're brilliant and they work very well. And then you started getting like, I think you posted a picture of a real leaf the other day, something about it being jacked. It was a big leaf.
Oh,
you
yeah.
You can get them.
Yeah.
And again, you dye them. They come out really well. The problem we have, and I did a little rant on this on a TikTok video the other day, or an Instagram video, about ferns. Like big, long, bright green plastic. Yeah. They don't work. Like you can dye them and you can wear them, and burying them works really well. I left a ghillie suit buried in my garden for ages. A Jack Pike one in clay. And it come out and it was glorious. It stank, but it was glorious. It had like really good natural tones. But then cotton. Everyone stopped using cotton to use fake leaves, to then 360 back to now using dyed cottons again.
Great for your browns. Great for browns. Not so much green. I do have actually on this picture, I have some cotton greens on there on my chest rig. That's actually a Viper Tactical chest rig.
That's what I run. They're brilliant.
Yeah. It's the buckle up.
Utility or the ready up it would be, wouldn't it?
No, it's just the one that had the pocket. It's just with you could open and close it, and you could take the top of it off, so it's just open top.
Utility.
Is it utility? Okay. They called it something else because I was actually associated with Viper Tactical because my old team was called Viper Tactical Airsoft, or Milsim, and we met them at SHOT Show in Las Vegas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Yeah. That's like Shooter Hunter Outdoor Trade Show. They do it every year. And we met up with those guys in the middle of one of the showrooms, and they agreed to give us a bunch of their product. And at the time, it really wasn't on the par with even to say it was better than even as good as Condor would have been like a stretch, because they were so new to that. And I think that's company's called it's not Jack Pike, is it? Like
the main company's called Thatch Reed, and they do Jack Pike, Webtex, and Viper.
Yeah, so we reviewed some of their products. I actually have a few of their things. Some of it wore out, some of them I gave away. But then they started coming out more with the VX line, and started doing more. They didn't cater to snipers, but their chest rigs were great for snipers. And you started seeing guys, putting the camo over the top of them. I know Silly Ghillie does that as a side business, I guess. He puts AGM and all other kinds of crafts all over their Viper stuff, but. I got that, that set for free, and it just turned into a sniper setup. It's gray. I thought that would be great for being in the woods if I was going to craft it, and I can change the colors on the front by just changing a piece of that crafting material that the Mustang kits or the Mustang suits are made out of. Oh, look at that!
So that
you got
is,
any ferns? No
so
ferns?
No, I don't have any bloody ferns. This is a Viper VX buckle up rig.
Yes, it's the same exact thing I got.
So
and then I got the
charger
cover for
pack
it
on the back.
Yes, the charger pack works great. I have a couple of them. It's basically a Haley repro, and that's why I tell anybody. I say Haley repro, whether doesn't matter what brand it is, it's perfect for what you're looking for. It's cheap. It's lightweight.
What I liked about the utility rigs is, or any of the new VX stuff, is the fact that you've got the inserts. So obviously I've got that set up with SMG inserts for pistol pouches. But then over in that corner, I've got they sent me one of the laser cut plate carriers. And obviously when I'm using the 416, I just rip it off, clip it on my charger pack, or vice versa. I can just chop stuff, whereas before you'd have to have a designated rig for that and then a rig for that. Whereas now you're just sort of like, out that goes, back in it goes.
The are definitely the way to go. That's from Haley, the patent company for the original design on that.
Yeah, they did the DC3. Was it the DC3?
Yeah. DC3RX. No. It might have been. Don't get me lying. Not a lot of my stuff is real, to be honest. A lot of it's repro just because it's airsoft. If I was relying on it for my real world technical, like if I was an operator or some sort of a military or I would want the highest thread count or the highest Denera count, if it's going to save my life. But for airsoft, make it light, make it easy. And now things, like you said, are interchangeable. That's the best way to go. Just use it for multiple setups, brown, green. I'm just happy now that I have two different colored suits. Now that I have a green setup, two of them. And speaking of green, I just registered for 1861, which is an American Milsim event that's happening in Colorado.
Yeah, I think you put something up on Instagram earlier about it.
Yes. It is at a place called the McNeil Scout Ranch. So it's like rocky elevation, greens, browns. Apparently there's no snakes up there because they don't like elevation. There's really no bugs there. And the temperature is going to be amazing. A friend of mine lives about 20 minutes away, and he spends his afternoons driving through the facility on his side-by-side or his four-wheeler. Okay. And so I'm going out there. I'm going to play that event, enjoy Colorado, as much as possible, and enjoy the views and get some good sniping in. So we're going to team up, and it'll be the first time. Yes, very much so.
People love to see it.
I'm strapping cameras to him. I'm going to have them on me, 360s, gun cameras, you name it, man. I'm coming out of the woodworks for this one. So, but very excited with that. So this is a new place to play. It's the first time AMS has had a new facility that isn't a local game, like a smaller game, in a long time. So.
Oh, it should be good.
Yeah, man. Well, I could do this all afternoon, but.
I was just about to say, well, we said we'd be an hour, and here we are, overrunning like every stream does. But I think there was no more questions, so we're caught up on everything. So yeah, I suppose from my point of view, or from my personal standpoint, I've lost the word I was going for.
Yeah, I got you, man.
It's been an absolute privilege, is what I was going to try and say.
I'd love to talk shop anytime, dude. Let's really try to push this. Maybe we can get over to you guys. I'm gonna get some guys that are some good dudes and see if we can get together and meet you guys over there in the UK. Maybe you can come back and come the other direction at some point. It might take a few years.
What we could do is the good thing is we both, like between us, like us and obviously our sort of wider group of people, because obviously we've got a lot of mutual friends in the community, is we all know stores in the country we want to go to. So like I could talk to Eric and be like, dude, I need a VSR, I need one of my own Wasps, so you just put that in for me, and I need this. And I could have a setup there. And obviously vice versa, I have many rifles. So if you came to the UK, you would have a selection to choose from.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. They make it so much easier on the travel and all that. So,
like,
all right, well, let's we'll call Operation Meetup. Maybe if we come up with a better name, but for now, it's just gonna be Operation Meetup.
I feel like there's got to be a Civil War joke in there somewhere. There's got to be some kind of pun there we can come up with.
T for 2.
Could be.
I don't know. T for 2.
We'll have a think. But yeah, we'll have to. We'll do an Instagram poll, see if anyone can come up with something interesting.
There you go. Okay.
Get the community involved. But again, thank you very much for joining.
I'm going to light that fire then, so keep an eye out for it, all right?
And yeah, thank you for making time, because I know, obviously, it's late here for me, but it's right smack in the middle of the day for you, so that's a pain. So again, appreciate you making the time. And yeah, maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll try and get maybe we'll get a few of us on. Like maybe us two, maybe get Ed and James on and have a group of us on a chat.
Yeah,
why not?
We can do a round table or a square computer.
Yeah, you know? I'm sure I can work some wizardry and get a few of us on.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right, well.
Thanks again. Appreciate being on. Thanks to everybody that watched. Make sure you follow SniperMechanic if you haven't already on Facebook, Instagram, wherever the hell else he is.
OnlyFans. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, OnlyFans. Definitely.
And check out Solotron Airsoft as well. Although I've already put the links in, so if you're in the stream, scroll back up and you'll see the Facebook and Instagram for Solotron on there. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Josh, thank you very much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.